Hey y'all, we're back with Clay with Bae episode 2. It's the next day for us, as it probably is for you. Hopefully, we get this up today. We're really grateful for all the positive feedback we've received so far, and I'm so happy that this is useful to some of y'all. So, for us Clay experts, sometimes it feels weird making basic demos because we think who the heck is going to actually find any use from this basic stuff, but so really happy. Any feedback is appreciated too. Obviously, it's it's quite easy for Clay demos to get derailed, so we're going to try and stay on track here. So let's just briefly go over what we did last time. We found companies, we found people in Clay, and we were sort of looking to get a better idea of employee count because the range that we're looking for doesn't really fit in. Like it just doesn't seem accurate. Like we should double check some of these and see what we can find. So I think law office is a very weird name for this company. It's robmarklaw.com, and I'm guessing they don't have 13,000 employees. Like that is crazy. So I'm gonna look at the reasoning again. The LinkedIn company profile does apparently state that they have that many employees. So there's something weird going on here. Law office 2. So this is clearly an AI hallucination. One thing that we might try is just using a different AI model. Sorry, Neon. We're going to replace you for now. And I'm going to go with 5 Mini because I find that it's half the price and it's often more accurate, but we're going to be switching models quite frequently. We're going to switch to the Clay managed credit usage account. So one thing we'll talk about maybe at the end of this series is how to optimize for cost. And I just recommend that everybody, if you're going to be using Clay a lot, if you're going to be using AI, which everyone should do these days, you should get an OpenAI account, organization account, put $100 in it, wait a week, and then you will be able to use it in Clay and save a bunch of money. So that's it for now. Let's save this and see what the results we get. I might need to clarify to tell it, hey, only use one source, preferably LinkedIn, to get an accurate company count. But at the end of the day, I think one option is that we get really granular and we like figure out an exact employee count, or as exact as we can get. The other option is we just accept that there's some inaccuracy, or some of these practices are going to be too small, some of them are going to be slightly too big, and that's okay. For these companies that we're working with, they make more money from more users. So this ICP might not be completely accurate, but it does make sense to have like a segmented list. So I think it's useful to demo this. Still coming back with 13,000.
Why does it keep saying that?
It's not accurate. Yeah, it's not accurate. Where is it saying on this page that there are that many employees? I think it's pulling something from their followers on the side or something like that. When we go to people, it's not coming out as accurate. So no, it actually does say 13,000 associated members at, oh, that's the reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's because everybody is saying they work at a law office on LinkedIn. So all these paralegals.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a weird niche case that I think we're just gonna have to ignore for this company.
Should we just filter it out?
We'll see. Let's double check a couple other of these just to see. Like, I know this seems like a lot of work up front, but like the next time we do this, it's gonna be faster, and then the next time, and then the next time, and then the next time. So this is actually not a good fit, right? It's not a good fit because they're a law association. Does it say that here? It does. So let's make an ICP prompt. I think that's on our to-do list. We planned out our ICP. We're going to be reaching out in the legal industry. Segment is going to be personal injury attorneys, and then the persona is going to be founders and owners. So we'll get to the angle later. Once we get to the email message generation. So employee count will still work, but we need a prompt a Clagent prompt ideally that can identify whether, go to the website, identify whether it is an association or not. Associations are not qualified, and find out whether it's a personal. That's like kind of an arbitrary requirement, but obviously having personal injury attorneys will allow us to have very specific copy. Sorry, there's a giant fly, and Anna's getting scared. Like literally the largest fly I've ever seen in my life. And I told Anna that large flies usually bite, so she's freaking out right now. So she'll be back in a second. The joys of recording with your wife. I think she got it out of the house, so that's wonderful. Yes. Okay. So employee count is good, but I like, and most people would say each prompt should have a specific person, a specific focus. One prompt, one focus. So what I'm going to do next is, so you can insert rather than having to create at the end and move it all the way back here, I'm just going to say insert one column right, use AI, configure, and we're going to come up with our prompt here. I'm going to switch to 5 mini because it's my favorite right now. But that might change over time. Like I think for research, 5 mini is really good. And then for copywriting, I really like some of the Claude models once you already have content. Otherwise, doing research with Claude can be quite expensive. So that's one thing I'll say. For the prompt. So we're not going to generate the prompt here. I'm going to configure it using my own language, and then we're going to pop it into Claude or something like ChatGPT to refine the prompt. So what are some constraints we want? We want it to visit. So let's just make a data section. Data. And I usually like to separate the lines using some numerals. What do you call that? No, pound sign. I don't know number sign. I'm not an expert here, guys.
A hashtag?
Yeah, hashtag, whatever you want to call it. Data is going to be company LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn URL. And then from there, we're also going to add the website. And remember the website. Why is it doing this? No, I want you to. That's weird that it's doing that. Come on. I've never seen that happen in my life. That must be. Website. We're going to put in there final website. Remember, final equals the one we should use forever. And then just down here, I'm going to put. No, for now, I'm going to. So the way I organize my prompts is job, data, and then context or instructions. So the job, your job is to visit the website and social page of company to determine whether it is a good fit for us to reach out to based on the data, based on important characteristics given on each page. So let's do data, qualification metrics, whether it is a good fit for us to reach out to. I'm just going to put ICP, qualification metrics.
Like employee count?
Employee count we've already found, so we could include that. Employee count, is that the right one? Let me move my face from the prompt here. So yes, employee count. I'm not going to give as much weight to it. I might skip over it.
Yeah, let's just skip it.
Because no, we should include it. Employee count is important. Employee count. This is the wrong one, by the way. We need to put that as final employee count. Qualification metrics. Employee count must be between 5 and 20. Okay. I'm gonna actually put that up in the data because that would be smart. Employee count. So we're heavily getting into prompting here, and the goal of working with a single company or multiple is like you want to create prompts that you can use over and over and over. Okay, we don't want to ever have to do this again. It's time intensive to create prompts, and so we're going to save this as a template in a second. Employee count must be between 5 and 20. What else? Type of law firm must primarily focus on personal injury. Anything else that would specifically qualify? That's the segment we want to run right now, and so that's what we're going to use. So let's go to Practice Panther. Let's see like what their solutions are. It actually goes solo practices, but we want to get a little bit tighter here, and so we're going to focus on the personal injury side of things and organize the rest later. So what makes it a good fit? Probably the number of users, because we're optimizing for revenue here. But for now, we're going to focus on size 5 to 20. Like we're like kind of creating a fictional company here, because I know many of you who are watching this will have clients or be the GTM lead or growth lead for a company, and you might have like a very specific requirement for your ICP. That's why we're doing this. A type of law firm must primarily focus on personal injury. That's kind of like a fate constraint right now. Like it's not like this company that we originally modeled this demo on is actually like that. I just wanted to make that clear. Must primarily focus on personal injury, and I think that's it. Type of law firm must primarily focus on personal injury. Anything else? This is a good time to turn to Claude. One sec. Okay, so they just released Opus 4.5 too, which we can try. I don't. So one of my MCPs is broken. Okay. So, what ICP qualification metrics would be best? This is a really beginner prompt, but that's kind of the purpose of this. Would be best for Clio or Practice Panther. Okay. I should have given it more context. Like we're doing this in Clay, right? We want to give it that context. What publicly available metrics? I think this is where a lot of people get it wrong, right? They're really, really qualifying their leads really hard rather than trying to evaluate for target market in general. I think that focusing too hard on your ICP will make you run in circles. Okay, this is perfect. Sweet spot, 2 to 50 attorneys. That's exactly what we have. Okay, so it's saying that larger firms typically run enterprise suites. Okay, personal injury because it has high case volume and contingency billing complexity. Multiple location firms. That's something we can do too. Is look to see if they have multiple firms. That's maybe a signal we can look for, like recent office expansions. Oh yes, we can do technology here. This is great. This is why even if you give a dumb prompt to Claude, it will still. Well, look at how smart it is. Just want me to map out how do you actually build this in Clay. Let's just say let's map it out and see what it comes up with. For the rest of the stuff, I'm going to copy it into our document. In-house legal departments. Interesting. Clay with Bae. Let's move this to the next page. Perfect. I'm really happy with that.
Wow, that was great.
It's really, really going. It's even giving me a fit prompt. And like, I am generally optimizing with my clients on like time to campaign or time to revenue. So rarely in the first month or two does like ICP scoring happen, because we're optimizing for positive responses for meetings, and I mean, there's been a couple of cases where clients have been overwhelmed with meetings, but generally our targeting is a nice balance so that, you know, like in really good cases, there's like 120 meetings for a team of like 5 sales reps. They can, I probably handle that. So it's really rare that we're also signing clients and working with companies where we're making sure that they can handle the load of positive responses we're going to bring to them. And so generally, I think it's really crazy to see like more than one positive reply for every 100 emails. So doing the math, like it would take a lot of people to do that. I'm going on a tangent again. I hope anyone who's doing Clay Bingo that I'll include in the description is playing along. By the way, I think we decided the first person to complete the Clay Bingo sheet will get a free hour with me to talk about whatever they want. I'll help you with a campaign or whatever you want. So let's command enter. Let's get this down. So we might add signals as like a final part to this, as like an ongoing part of the series. Okay, so we should have done the ICP mapping to begin with, but what you guys didn't see is that I kind of had started with that information already, because that alone can take a long time. I'm happy that we got to a point where we have information. So we're just going to expand it to between 2 and 50. What this prompt might do, or what the original employee count prompt, it will find associations and disqualify them because of employee count. So it's actually quite useful. Employee count must be between 2 and 50. Type of law firm must primarily focus on personal injury and must not be an association or software. Must practice law. If any of these metrics are not true, return false. Otherwise, return true. This is super simple ICP qualification. Either they're qualified or they're not. Okay. Anything else, like trying to find out if they have like 2 head partners versus like 5, and I don't know, other things would waste our time, I think, in this specific case. So let's call this ICP qualification prompt. Okay, and then let's save this as a template. I'll show you guys how to do that. Save as a template. So we're going to call it I'm just going to call it Clio. I'm just going to call it, so when I create my own prompts and they're canon, they're like essential for running the business, I put an SG before them. In this case, I'm just going to call it Clay with Bae, whatever your client is. Clay with Bae, ICP qualification. A prompt that will automatically qualify or disqualify best fit candidates for outreach. Binary, yes or no, or true or false. So this is not a scoring template. Okay, I think that's it. And then I'm going to change the output here. This is probably useful for you guys. Sometimes if you give AI the reins to return weird crap, it will. I want to force it to return true or false. So I'm just going to make this qualified, yes or no. Really use this because, like, if you're looking for phone numbers, you can have it spit out a number. If you're looking for a website, you can force it to spit out a URL, and it will reduce hallucinations and weird stuff happening. So
you have to
yeah.
turn off the auto run, or
Yeah, we should turn off. Well,
what's the best thing to do?
in this case, while you're still a beginner, yes, you should turn it off. If we wanted to chain employee count and this qualification prompt together, we would leave it on. And I would say it already requires employee count to run because of this.
Oh, okay.
But if we wanted to create a prompt train, like do not run until employee count exists.
Oh,
Okay?
that's good.
So this is really simple. We could use AI to show you, like I would use AI, guys, like say only run, always use the use AI function. If you're new, just always use it. Only run if employee count exists. That's a dumb way to put it, but it works. And it generated the same prompt as I had before. Well, almost the same. Okay. So now let's save, and I'm going to save and not run. I just want to test it. Okay. So let's see. I would probably open up the qualification a little bit to, since LinkedIn has some inaccuracies and some fluff occasionally, like VAs are included. I would probably make it from like 1 to 100 employees, or from 5 to 100 employees, or something like that. But let's just validate this and see if it's good. All right, let's check in with our thing while that is running. Okay, that's done for now. We'll qualify people in a second too, which should be easier. All right, so we've done some basic prompting, which is really important. Any other questions at this point? What would you do next? Okay, so only one of these is technically qualified. I wonder why it said
Yeah, why did it say false?
Bodex Box Idea is a company formed from telecom senior executives. Inconsistent with description. Provide remote paralegals. Beautiful.
Oh,
So if you didn't do this step, you'd be reaching out to associations and all this. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead. Let me see what we're finding employee count with. And yeah, I think that's good. So one thing I was going to say is, let me see how many credits we have. I don't really want to spend credits on this. So we're going to pretend we spent credits, but I'm trying to save some money here because that would be a lot of money. I'm just going to add, we can use credits on this stuff. I don't want anyone to be in the comments yelling at me. You said you were going to only use credits. We technically are. But it would cost significantly more for me. So we're doing it this way, and we're not going to use anything that does not have credits as an alternative, right? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure, because this is going to get expensive.
yeah, it makes sense.
That's why you should get your own API key. But if you're a beginner, don't worry about spending credits. Okay. Okay. Come on. All right, we're gonna run these. I'm actually gonna run this on like maybe a couple more. We're just gonna look through it. The prompt seems pretty good though. I don't think it needs to really be refined, but we'll probably find some edge cases. Like when you're creating new prompts, like manual QA is necessary. Like you can't just let something go rogue. Let's just try it on these. Law Office of Paralegal. They're a paralegal. No, it's Parag. My brain is dyslexic. Okay, these are all US, I think. And we specified that for the most part, I think. But I'm pretty sure these companies could probably work with people out of the US, but I would also say that geographics are important. Like you should double check anything that you put into the Clay search or Apollo search or Sales Navigator, because sometimes it comes back and you find, like, even though they said on LinkedIn that they're in the US, they're actually in the UK or something like that. So that's important. We're doing some good qualifying here. This is really gonna narrow down our list, okay? And so a step that we need to go back and do now is remove anyone that's not qualified, okay? So we messed up, and it's embarrassing, but this is a teaching lesson. Don't pull people until you qualify the ICP. So there's two ways to do this now. We could delete this whole list, which is pretty silly, or we're going to do a lookup and remove the people who are not qualified. So I'm guessing that something like this is going to happen to you all who are watching at some point. You're like, oh no, I did something backwards. And it's very fixable. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out. I recommend you do this. Don't just rely on what's here. Pull it out. Okay. Pull out employee count. Okay. That way you'll be able to see it. Okay, so we're gonna fix our mistake here. We made a big boo-boo. How do we salvage this list? If you're a clay beginner, you might just be like, oh man, I can't use any of these, right? That's not true. We're gonna do our first lookup. We're gonna add enrichment. Look up row. Look up single row, another table. I'll show you a use case later where we would look up multiple rows, but we're gonna search the other Clio table. That's why we made it easy to search, because we knew we'd have to search. We're going to look up, so when you're doing the lookup, and this is very important, you need to find one column that is consistent between both tables, okay? What do you think would be a good thing that would be consistent between both tables, like between people and companies? What is something that would be the same?
Maybe the company name?
Company name? Yeah, we could use company name. I think the company domain or LinkedIn profile is probably more reliable.
That's even better.
Yeah, so let's do LinkedIn URL. Equals or contains, it doesn't really matter in this case. Equals LinkedIn profile. No, we don't want that one. We want the company table data. Yeah, so this should work. Auto update, right? And we're going to run. This is free. It doesn't cost any credits. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look up the company record. Probably need to do this again, actually. Let's go run the whole qualification prompt on everybody. And let's just see how much it costs, just curiosity. It's definitely less than a credit. But if you're doing this on your own, this would cost 1 credit. So I'm going to run this on everything else, okay? And we're going to find out who's qualified and who's not. Once we have this finished, we're going to rerun that other one. And we're going to fix it so that only the qualified people. And this is why when you're planning a campaign and you tell your boss, I promise I will send you 1,000 emails next week. You need to start with more companies, because if you're sending by ICP and if you're qualifying correctly, you will whittle down whatever percentage of companies are not qualified. And then when you find emails for people, I'd say that an average hit rate is like 50%, right?
Yeah.
It could be as low as like 20, some industries I've seen, and as high as like 80 to 90% in some industries. Like the more enterprise you go, the higher chance you have of finding an email. But we are disqualifying a ton of companies. Nonprofit organization. Wow. We are finding out that the data that we got from Clay, which was free, by the way, no hating, needed some serious filtering. It practices law, is not, so these are not primarily focused on personal injury, okay? So that's why we're losing a lot of these. That's okay. We're just setting that constraint sort of artificially so that you people who are watching can see that, okay? So now we're gonna rerun this. Did this rerun? So let's just show you how this works, okay? You would need to rerun it if it wasn't running automatically. So we can see everything that is currently in that other table using this, right? You can look up the other table, and now you have that table in the other table, right? Because this is everything that is contained within that row that we looked up, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, it's like you have the company information in a little bubble. It's like you make a call and you say, hey, like I'm at the people's offices. Can you tell me what the company data is? You know, like, I don't know, that's the way that I would describe it. Very simply. So ICP qualified, we can now say if each company is qualified. So it's slowly filtering in. I think we're going to have to refresh this, okay? We're going to have to run column And you rarely want to do this, but you want to force run, in this case, to update the data.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Now, we're going to do some big stuff as we finish this episode here. We are going to filter out anyone who's not qualified is equal to true. Okay? So now we're left with 188. That's fine.
Wow. That's a lot of filtering.
Yes, a lot of people who are disqualified. One thing we could do, we could go find more people at each company. Excuse me, or we could find more companies, because right, remember we saw like 17,000, and we only decided to go with 1,000 for now. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you just pull as much of your target market as you can in one go, because you will find that if you're like, oh well, I only want to pull 1,000 companies. It doesn't cost any money to pull the companies in, as far as I know. I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But like, plan for only 25% of your original list if you're only pulling one person per company, to be left over. So if you pull like 2,000 companies, expect only like 500 people to be left over at the end, or something like that. Disregard, like, that's not including your ICP filter. So like, you might know only 10% of the law firms out there are qualified for you. In that case, you'd want to plan for that eventuality. So I think that's it for today. Let's double check our list here. We still need to qualify people in clay. We could do that real quick. So let's just, for the people, let's see. So we're going to primarily qualify on job title, okay? So their job title must contain partner, CEO, founder, anything else that I'm missing. So insert right. You could do this as a formula. Oh, this is such a good teaching lesson, okay? So we're going to insert a formula. Okay, we haven't used the formula yet.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, we have used the formula. So if job title does not, or if job title contains
Owner?
any of these words: partner, owner, founder, CEO. Is that it? I think that's it.
Oh,
Founder,
yeah.
CEO. Return or return true. That's better. Otherwise, return false. This is like programming conditional language, okay? Okay. Let's make sure that this actually works. Okay. We're going to double check the work. So principal, I think also, there's a couple missing. Okay. So we gotta figure this out. Chief, let's also do chief. That'll capture that one. Chief. And I think principal too. I think I should double check that, but yeah, it should be fine. Okay, so it captured chief. Accounting, we want to get rid of, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it got rid of it. Okay. It got rid of proprietor, which might be qualified. I think we might have captured some crap, though. So we might have to exclude some certain words, okay? I remember seeing, actually, that was before we filtered the list. So I think that's it. So you can't always filter down a list by using a formula, but you should when you can. Like in this case, why not? HR generalist and assistant to the CEO, freelance. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so we need to fix this.
How can we stop that from happening?
Yeah, we need words that disqualify. So if job title, you don't need to say it again, but if job title contains assistant, freelance, junior, return false.
Okay.
come on, it's taking. Oh, did we bake it or did we cook it? Sometimes you you start to. Oh no, it's broken. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. I was panicking.
All right.
Yes, we got rid of some crap. So we could have used AI to do that, and honestly, AI would have cost like 0.001 cents or 0.01 cents or something to do that. But this is fine.
This works.
It works. We did it. Let's check that off our list and I think end the episode for now. All right. Well, in the next episode, we'll start using what we found and do some exciting stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We fit in a lot of lessons into this one.
See you in the next one.
All right, guys. Bye bye.